it's different because Pereira hasn't been traveling, bro. That could be a big difference in this fight.
I think they're both going to stand there and they're both going to go to war.
This feels like it's a kind of a make or break moment for him.
I think he retires or he goes to heavyweight.
The stage is set, a war is brewing, and the fighters are ready to give it their all to prove themselves as the ultimate champion. 4th October 2025, the day when Alex Pereira goes against his rival Magomed Ankalaev once again, making everyone question whether he would be able to snatch the win this time. While advising Magomed Ankalaev on how to approach the fight tactics, Henry Cejudo suggested to win the bout against Alex Pereira again, it is crucial to keep the Brazilian fighter in the center of the ring rather than letting him defend himself in the corner. Henry claimed that by sticking to the corner of the cage, Alex is able to defend himself against Ankalaev's takedowns, which the latter has to avoid this time around.
The keys for a guy like Ankalaev to get that victory once again is he's gonna have to fight him in the center, bro. Because this is what I will say, and a lot of people don't recognize it. Even in that fight, Alex Pereira fought a lot closer to the cage, bro, and he was able to defend Ankalaev's takedowns a little bit more. You know what I'm saying? But it also didn't. But it also caused them to lose the fight too, because he was there a little too long. You know what I'm saying? So you have to give that control time to a guy like Ankalaev. But for Magomed, he's gonna have to get those takedowns. He has to do it early, and he's gonna have to do it in the center. For light heavyweights, it's two steps back, literally, bro, and they are against the cage. You know what I'm saying? It's different, bro. It is so freaking different, dude. The octagon is so big, but when you half it and one guy's in the center, the other guy's kind of like on the outside, it only takes 2 steps.
Further adding to his predictions, Henry stated that while he wants to lean towards Alex Pereira taking the win, he would still stick to rooting for Ankalaev, considering the fact that it's harder to one-up yourself in a second fight. Henry did not fail to appreciate Alex's hard work for this fight though, claiming that this time we would be seeing a different, more rested and prepared Alex in the ring.
Man, it's hard to go up against Unk time. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like this is a different Pereira, bro. I'm kind of swinging Pereira, but I'm gonna put it with Ankalaev, man. I think Pereira did not do as crazy traveling as we've been seeing him, so he's gonna be home a little bit more. So, but I'm gonna go with Unk time.
You say all that to say I'm going to go with Ankalaev? Oh my God, this guy.
On the other hand, Kamaru Usman, going against the views of Henry Cejudo, claimed that Magomed Ankalaev isn't the regular Dagestani fighter that everyone expects him to be. The fighter has his own techniques and his own striking abilities that are able to cut his opponents in half. According to Kamaru, while Magomed is an amazing striker with immense strength, he's not the type of fighter that does takedowns, so seeing a takedown in this fight would be unlikely.
I don't understand why everyone continues to group Ankalaev in the Dagestani wrestler kind of a fighter. He's not. He's his own type of Dagestani fighter that loves to strike, that loves to pick people apart and get them out of there. That is who Magomed Ankalaev is. He's not the Dagestani wrestler that's going to come in there, level change, show you level changes, take you down and just beat your face down while you're down in there. He's not that guy. We saw him struggle to take Pereira down the first fight. That's not the case. That's not what's going to happen here. He's not. Ankalaev is very, very good and seasoned striker to where this is where he likes to be. This is where he's been for years now. This is where he likes to conserve his energy. This is him because he also understands.
Moreover, Kamaru added the view that since the stakes for the fight are so high, there is a likely chance Alex Pereira gives us support openings for strikes while trying to use an aggressive style. Due to his weakness, Kamaru believes that Ankalaev might find a way to use these openings for his benefit, landing a strike of such a magnitude that renders his opponent helpless and takes the win to his name.
By him doing that, I do think Alex Pereira is going to give openings. He's got to be more aggressive than he was that first fight. And by him being a lot more aggressive by nature, he's going to leave those openings. And I think Magomed Ankalaev is sharp enough striker and sharp enough shooter to where he might be able to land something significant to potentially steal this fight away. So I do think Ankalaev walks away with the belt and still. But if there is any thing that could possibly happen, I think it would happen right here, and I think it would happen right now because Alex Pereira has done, I think, did the work.
Furthermore, Tom Aspinal gave his own 2 cents regarding the matchup, claiming that while Alex Pereira has proved himself to be a legendary fighter, till now most of his opponents proved to be feasible for the fighter statistic. However, as Magomed entered the scene, Tom argued that a threat of takedowns was brought into the match, which made the fight much more challenging for the Brazilian fighter. Aspinal also added that he wouldn't be surprised if the results of the first match repeat this time.
I think the thing with Alex Pereira is he has done really well with the skill set that he's got. Very dangerous striker, great with the calf kick, great with the distance control, great with the left hook, very, very powerful striker. I think the matchups were quite favourable to him up until this point. I think the threat that Ankalaev brings in, him being a southpaw, him controlling the range really well, and him just with the threat of the takedowns, even in the first fight we didn't really see him really go for the takedowns too much, but I think just the threat being there, I think stylistically he's a bad matchup for Pereira, and I wouldn't be surprised if he does it again.
Additionally, Tom gave a live view of the fighting style of Magomed Ankalaev, mimicking the fighter's move. According to Tom, Ankalaev has the ability to strike when it's fit, taking hold of his area and controlling the octagon with his moves. Tom also claimed that an underestimated skill of Ankalaev is the fact that he can make the right move at the right time.
I think, well, he's a southpaw, so what he does really well is, yeah, I'm going to be Ankalaev. So what he does really well, this is something that the commentators and people don't seem to mention a lot, is he always gets his feet in the right place. He's very rarely square on, which would be setting him up for this big left hook. In the first fight, he was constantly here. And something that he does super, super well is his octagon control. So you won't really see him throwing many strikes from out in the open. When his opponent's back is against the fence, that's when he'll start to dip in between here and going with the strikes and dipping and with his push kicks and all that kind of stuff. I think something that's really underestimated with Ankalaev, and feel free to tell me if I'm wrong here, Paul, because you've obviously fought him, is he knows when to set things up properly. Like, he does the right things, is what I'm trying to say. He doesn't do anything at the wrong time.
Adding to that, while predicting the future of Alex Pereira if he potentially loses the match against Magomed Ankalaev once again, Tom Aspinal claimed that Alex would have no other option other to move to heavyweight. That is because so far in his own weight division, Pereira has already beaten most of the contenders, so going against the same people would make no sense.
I'm going to heavyweight, but like Adam said, I feel like if he's lost twice in 2 title fights against the same guy, he can only beat other contenders who he's basically already beat. There's not a lot of other, maybe, well, he beat Yuri Prohaska twice, didn't he? So there's not a lot of guys. Jamal Hill he beat, Khalil Roundtree he beat. A lot of the top contenders he'd already beat him, so what's he going to do? Just do rematches against guys he's already beat. So 38 years old, he might as well, in my opinion,
take a shot at heavyweight?
Might as well.
Luke Thomas made another observation that forced people to question their views of Pereira's performance in the previous bout. According to Luke, while looking back at the footage of the previous fight, the issue that can be highlighted in Pereira's techniques is not the fact that he used a different style or that he failed to respond to his opponent's jab. Rather, the issue was the fact that the volume of punches thrown by Pereira had significantly decreased, which could have occurred due to multiple reasons, including his injuries.
Poatan didn't look like himself. Right? In other words, he didn't fight in a way that felt foreign stylistically. He did not move in a way that did not necessarily seem, or that something seemed obviously amiss. That is not me saying that there wasn't something wrong, but I guess the point I'm trying to make is, you know, he kind of moved and reacted as normal with a pretty big caveat, just at a much lower volume. I looked at the volume in this fight. So if you go back and you just measure it against time, so what was not his overall average, but what he was throwing in volume in his previous fights. In the Ankalaev fight, it was like 3.5 significant strikes per minute. In the Roundtree fight, it was double that. In the Prohaska fight, it was even more than that. And technically, mathematically, in the Jamal Hill fight, it was just ever so slightly more than that. But the point being is this was like a clear reduction.
Furthermore, reflecting Tom Aspinall's views, Luke claimed that if Alex takes a loss once again at the hands of Magomed Ankalaev, it would be a fair move for him to move to the heavyweight division and try his luck out there against towards bigger and better contenders. However, that might prove difficult, according to Luke, for Alex to accomplish, considering the fact that he would try to move him in divisions after facing 2 boring losses.
Probably goes to heavyweight and sees if he can, you know, get a big fight there. Maybe he'll stick around for a couple more big fights. You know, I saw a stat today. If he ends up winning on Saturday, he would be the oldest UFC champ currently on the roster.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Among active champions is the better way to say that.
Yep.
Among active champions. And I think, I think Ankalaev 33, this is another factor to consider. To what extent is he slowing down at 38? But listen, the answer is not very difficult to figure out. What kind of big fights would be available to him and in what scenario? Like, for example, if you get another kind of fight where it's just a grinding affair and he says, I want to go to heavyweight, would you say no to an Aspinal fight in that case? I'm not saying it would be deserved, but I'm saying what would be the public appetite? It's going to be dampened because he's now coming off of back-to-back boring losses. Like, that would hurt, but it wouldn't be prohibitive.
Alex Pereira commented in a recent interview about his views on Magomed and the fighter's need for constant beef. According to Alex, he does not feel frustrated with the feud between the two, claiming to be happy about the fact that the world could see the truth about his opponent.
No, it doesn't irritate me at all because it's good for me to show people who he really is, that he's lying and he's hiding. It's good for me to recover my body and for me to be able to take some time. But, the White House card is going to be in another 7 months, a little bit over that. So I wanted to fight before that, but we'll see how it goes.
Additionally, John McCarty revealed that this is the type of fight where it just can't be predicted who would be able to take the win, since both the contenders have the necessary tools and weapons under their belts to take what's rightfully theirs. According to John, while Ankalaev proves to be fan favorite, there can come a point in the fight where the entire game could flip over to Alex's favor.
When you have a fight that you look at and you go, man, either guy can win. It's not like it's there's no doubt in my mind one's going to win over the other. I can't say that in this fight. This is an absolute, I'm going to say Ankalaev is the favorite, but there at any moment, all it takes is one from Alex Pereira to change the course of the fight or to end the fight. So either guy can win this fight.
Similarly, Josh Thompson seemed to agree with McCarty's opinions, claiming that Ankalaev is the type of fighter who can prove to be deadly when given the chance. Magomed hasn't utilized his full potential as of yet, but still manages to intimidate his opponents and wins the match with deadly strikes and takedown. If Ankalaev sticks to his techniques and goes along with his strikes, there's a high chance he will be able to take this win as well.
That means that a majority of his fights he's won by doing what? By standing with some of the top guys.
That's it.
And so to think that he can't stand with Alex is just ridiculous. He stood the first time. He did threaten a couple, I think 1 or 2 takedowns throughout the fight, and they were kind of like half-assed just to keep him thinking about the takedown. I almost feel like he listens to the podcast and is thinking to himself, hey, Josh always says just threaten it and it'll be just fine. Well, he proved that in his last fight. He threatened it a little bit, and now he's just...
Furthermore, when asked whether this potential win would be considered one of the best victories won by Alex Pereira, the Brazilian fighter claimed that no other fight could top the standard that Pereira versus Adesanya had set. According to Alex, a legendary fight has to have a proper history and a motive behind the fight. Even if there is trash talk involved, there is a way to go about it, which his current opponent is unable to follow.
Yeah, nothing compares to that win over Adesanya, with the whole history in kickboxing, everything that went through. And a lot of people sometimes think to promote a fight you just got to say a lot of things and have this animosity, and that's not what it is. You got to have that history, that background, and so he's doing it all wrong.
Additionally, Alex keeps his audience updated on his progress and daily routine in order to show exactly how seriously he has been taking this fight. While giving interviews, Alex made it clear that this time his training had been done without any distractions or issues, with a clear goal in mind. Showing clips of himself in the ring, Alex gave his fans a slight peek of what could be expected in the ring on October 4th.
Se inscreva no canal, beleza? Tamo junto, aproveitar aqui o canal do Diego. E foi isso, a gente tá com uma equipe muito boa também, a Corner também, o Ianzão chama. E é isso, com certeza, como falei, corpo bem, a gente tá firme, forte, fazendo os treinamentos, não teve viagens, não teve distrações, cara, tô num momento muito bom.
Fight week, and already there's a storyline going into this one. We've seen
it's not him writing online. It's not coming from him. So what happened?
And in the end, despite the predictions and analysis done by experts, the question of whether Alex Pereira would be able to redeem himself this time around can only be answered in the cage on upcoming Saturday. With his legacy on the line, everyone is wondering only one thing. Will history repeat itself, or are we in for a bigger twist? Let us know in the comments below whether you think Alex could prove himself worthy of the title again, or whether Ankalaev, as most think, would prove victorious once more. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, as well as hit the bell icon to stay tuned for more such updates. See you soon!